can use. I'm Ivy.
And I'm Mike. Here are this week's stories.
The Catholic Church looks for its new pope after Pope Francis's passing. The cardinals have called a conclave to find the next pope. This has been the conclave's job since the year 1268 after a particularly brutal election. This is not an easy decision, as any Catholic man can be pope. However, the pope will most likely be one of the current cardinals. Many are divided in their hopes for a new pope, some wanting a more conservative pope, others hope to continue to see change and progression with the next pope. The world will know who the new pope is when the smoke from the Sistine Chapel chimney is white.
The state of Indiana has been under fire, receiving huge backlash after removing consent of sex ed requirements in schools. This is in the Senate Bill 442, where Republican lawmakers decided that consent language should not be required to teach for sex ed instructors and that parents should be responsible for sharing that knowledge beforehand. Indiana citizens were outraged, exclaiming that there is so much more to consent than just saying no. And sometimes teenagers don't exactly know their right to do so. To summarize, we need to protect our youth. Officials tried to explain that it could still be taught, just not required. However, after this huge outbreak, Indiana State Senate Gary Bryan came out and acknowledged how this was a sensitive topic to many and decided to keep consent language as a requirement on the bill not even 24 hours after removing it. The bill is now on its way to make its final decision.
A large wildfire is currently burning in Ocean County, New Jersey, and has already destroyed more than 15,000 acres. It started in Glenwood Forest Wildlife Management Area, and a 19-year-old named Joseph Kellon has been arrested for allegedly stopping it by not putting out a bonfire. Thousands of residents have been evacuated, and at least one commercial building has been lost to the flames. Firefighters have contained around 50% of the fire, but the conditions are still dangerous. Smoke from the fire has spread to places like New York City and Long Island, causing air quality warnings. Officials are monitoring the situation closely and say that the rain could be crucial in getting the fire under control.
A scientist who invented a revolutionary microscope to detect cancer has been detained by ICE, putting important scientific breakthroughs at risk. After allegedly failing to report that she had frog embryos, 30-year-old Ksenia Petrova was detained at a Boston airport by ICE. The CBP usually only confiscates and fines a person for these custom violations. Instead, CBP took away Petrova's one scholar visa. She is fighting her deportation case and fears being persecuted in Russia for her protest on the Russia-Ukraine war. Petrova has openly addressed her disdain for the immigration system, saying that ICE is stopping her from curing cancer.
More than 150 universities and college presidents co-signed a letter Tuesday condemning the Trump administration's recent efforts to dictate the policies of private higher education institutions in exchange for federal funding. The Trump administration has paused billions of dollars in federal grants to several of the nation's most prestigious universities, including Harvard, Columbia, and Princeton, in an attempt to get the universities to change their admissions process and penalize students protesters. So far, the Trump administration has only paused or threatened to pause billions of dollars, which federal funding, which is vital to the operations of several universities, including Columbia, Harvard, and University of Pennsylvania in Princeton. The movies are part of the administration's broader effort to root out anti-Semitism on college campuses.
An Indiana teacher sentenced for forcing special needs students to eat his own vomit. A judge sentenced Sarah Seymour to probation after she pleaded guilty to neglect of a dependent as a misdemeanor. Seymour was a life skills teacher at Brown Elementary School in Brownsburg. She was caught on a security camera in a lunchroom telling a special needs student to eat his own vomit. Seymour told the student that if he vomited, he would have to eat whatever he threw up. She was sentenced to 365 days in jail. 4 other teachers are also charged in the case. Police said they were either involved or witnessed the incident.
President Donald Trump has denied a federal disaster relief request from Arkansas after severe storms and tornadoes devastated part of the state in March, resulting in over 40 deaths across Arkansas, Mississippi, and Missouri. Governor Sarah Sanders formally requested a major disaster declaration to secure federal assistance for the affected communities. The request was denied by the Trump administration. In response, Governor Sanders appealed the decision and engaged in discussions with Homeland Security Secretary Kristen Noem, and the denial aligns with President Trump's ongoing efforts to reduce the role of the federal management agency in disaster response. He has previously criticized FEMA as efficient and costly, advocating for state and local governments to take primary responsibility for disaster relief. Critics argue that such moves undermine national disaster response capabilities, especially as climate change increases the frequency and severity of such events. The situation in Arkansas marks a rare instance of Republican leaders publicly opposing a FEMA denial, reflecting the severity of the disaster and the challenges posed by the administration's policy shifts.
A bill making a level 6 felony to own a signal jammer is headed to government. Mike Brown's desk after 2024 incident in Vanderbilt Country made it top priority for local legislators sin. Jim Tomaz R. Waitsville authored the Senate version of the bill, which will equal to a level 6 felony if the bill was to be signed. Then it will go into effect July 1st, 2025. Jammers work by overpowering other areas of devices that use Wi-Fi, making them useless, including Ring doorbells, alarms, and sensors. So far, the bill has been approved by the White House and the Senate.
That's all the news we have for today.
Make sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at ACC TV Hammond.